Hey, Riverhouse, Pastor Jordan here,
I'm Benji.
and welcome to our 21-day devotional series. These are a series of videos meant to coincide with the corporate fast that we are embarking on as a community. And what you're about to listen to are some short clips from some long-form conversations that Benji and I have had over the last few weeks.
Our hope and prayer is that these conversations would magnify the name of Jesus and draw you closer to his presence these 21 days. Bless you. I think I grew up in churches where if people were praying, which I hope they were praying more on their own, and we weren't praying together, unless we were blessing the food before we'd eat dinner or something. And one thing that maybe the primary thing that impacted me when I first came to River House, blew my mind, was how sincerely we would seek the Lord in community with one another. Because I felt like I got view into other people's secret space. Yeah. And then I was able to be leavened by their quiet space into mine. So I'm like, oh, wow, I see the way you're pursuing God. I want to capture that. And, like it said about discipleship, monkey see, monkey do.
Monkey see, yeah. One of the ways that the two probably formational spaces that taught me to pray is, one, my mom would bring me into her quiet place in the morning. That was devotionals. But, it's like your mom, so it's whatever. But then in my freshman year of college, there was a guy, he was 2 or 3 years older than me. And he invited me to start praying with him every day at 5 a.m. And effectively just invited me into his secret place. So I would wake up about 4:45. I had a 15-minute walk. I'd meet him at the prayer chapel on campus. And we would pray for like an hour or two.
Wow.
Every day for a number of months.
Wow.
And I had never really actively prayed with another person. A few times with my mom growing up, my brothers. But I was a little uncomfortable, but I would just sit there and listen to him pray, and it would really edify me and nourish me. And I gleaned a lot. His name was Brian. He had a huge impact on my life, just sitting in a prayer closet and watching him pray. So absolutely, there's a discipleship in prayer. Yeah, I love that observation.
I think it's such an important step that we've invited everybody who's doing this 21-day fast devotional space, that they come to the house of prayer and experience it in that way. The house of prayer changed my life. And I feel like that's where I actually caught vision for why Daniel, for example, would actually resist the empire and pray 3 times a day, even though it was decreed that he was not allowed to pray. He knew he needed it. He would fight for it. And here in this culture where we're so comfortable, we could pray pretty much anytime, anywhere, we neglect the space of prayer. I don't think I had vision to believe that I could access that kind of prayer that Daniel accessed until seeing other people pray in the house of prayer at River House. So thank you for leading us in that space. I recall in the early River House days, at least early for me, there was a dream or a vision that you shared once of a chasm, and there was some running happening, and there was like wings. Funny. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I had a dream.
Could you share that?
I had a dream years ago when I don't even know how old. It was before ministry days, so I was probably in college. And yeah, it was like, there was a guy that I knew who was a really successful business guy he'd kind of spoken in my life a number of times. And in the dream, it was like everyone was on this rat race. And yeah, it was everyone was like going way over there, but there was this huge chasm and everyone was kind of running. It was like along this edge of the Grand Canyon, what it kind of like looked like.
Sure.
And everyone was on this rat race and everybody had like these 8-foot wings, but all the people that were like running the race well had like learned how to make those wings super aerodynamic. And the guy who was really successful, business guy, he was the leader of the pack. And he had those things like so tight and he was aerodynamic, kind of cutting the wind. And in the dream, I'm like watching this and I'm kind of running the race as well. And then something sobers up in me and I was like, these are wings. Like these are made to fly. And I broke from the pack and started trying to like flutter these wings, and I kept falling. I didn't know what to do, and I started getting frustrated because every time I look over, like that pack of people were getting further and further away.
Whoa.
And then I woke up from the dream, and I just had this sense that, like, I think that's part of the faith it takes to be a person of prayer, is that we have a creative capacity within us that can only be activated through union with the Spirit of God. But it's an unseen, we don't have control over it. We don't necessarily know how it's going to manifest, what the fruitfulness is going to be. And it requires us going against the grain of the world, which is a rat race of like rise and grind, hit it hard, use every moment, like time is money, be efficient, do something productive with your life. I think Eugene Peterson, I forget what book it was, but he said he had this book that's like kind of prophetic. He's like, pastors all over America are abandoning their post. But he's like, but they're not leaving their pulpits. They're just abandoning the call to prayer. And he's like, because even in ministry, you can get drawn. You need to go meet. How many people are you meeting with? How many sermons? How many studies? How many salvations? How many this? And so we want things that are concrete and tangible and measurable. And prayer is just different than that. But there's something, you look at the lives that have borne fruit for God in extraordinary ways. The Mother Teresa's, the Heidi Bakers. It's like it's not their strength. It's not their doing. So there's a mystery and a dynamic of faith, and I think it's like do you want days of labor or do you want days of favor? And it takes incredible faith. And I think I actually liked that the dream wasn't like, oh, I just immediately started flying, because it's not like that. You don't just like, good. I did 21 days of prayer and I started praying this year and then I flew and now I'm ahead of everything. It's like, no, there's actually like, it takes time. And there's the frustration of feeling like, is this worth it? Like, was this morning worth it? Is all this time worth it? And that's where, it's like, it is. Like, it is. We will all stand before the judgment seat one day. I think we'll look at our lives, give account for our lives, and we will probably all have a measure of regret, but I don't think any of us will have regret about time that we gave to Jesus. Like, I just don't think it will work out that way in his economy. Like, I think we'll be like, wow, those were the best decisions I made.
That's so good. Like, somehow we'll look back and know that those were our hours that we spent the best.
And if you think of, it's like, I want to live my days. I often will think this thought or pray this prayer that I want to live today in a way that will impact my grandchildren or my great-grandchildren. And, there's not a lot of things that are surefire bets that like, that you did it there. It's like, I think a lot of what we do in a day, there is a, more of an immediate temporal nature to it, which is fine. Like, we're human beings. We got to eat. We got to whatever. You got to exercise. But I think the time that we spend in prayer and what we sow into in prayer, I think we can rest assured that like we just think it's a mustard seed, and it is, but God sees so much more. We sow these little acorns. God sees oak trees.
Come on. Wow, that fires me up.